Yes, today in this class of cost accounting, I will be taking the chapter labor cost control, and the topic of today is labor turnover. Now, what is labor turnover? Labor turnover is the rate of change in the composition of the labor force in the organization. It becomes important because in almost all the organizations, it is a common feature that some workers leave their employment and new workers join in place of those organizations. Now, workers leave their employment due to many reasons, and the major reason is the payment or the remuneration paid to the laborers. The laborers, if a laborer is paid less than the market rate, then he can leave the organization. If the working environment is not good, then also he leave the organizations. If remuneration or other incentives and bonus is not paid to the workers, or there is lack of motivation in the organization, or there is no labor participation in the management, then also laborers leave the organizations. There are certain normal reasons also, like if a labor die, then he is automatically left out from the organization, or if a female member married to a person who is living at another place, then that labor will leave the organizations. So there are many reasons for leaving the organizations. If there is frequent leaving of labor from the organization, then there will be a problem, because if there is high labor turnover, then it is not beneficial to the organization. Then in that case, the organization will have to appoint new workers, and new workers will cost a lot, and then they will have to be given training, and apprentice will be given to them, and in this way the cost will increase. Hence, organization should make certain should do certain efforts so that labor remain in the organization for a longer period, and efficient workers do not leave the organization frequently, because leaving the laborers frequently will cause a problem, mainly the cost problem to the management, and new workers will take time to produce or manufacture any product, and this will also affect the revenue and profits of the organization. Hence, certain methods should be conducted, like they should be paid high, efficient workers should be motivated, they should be given good environment conditions also in the organization, so that to retain the labor in the organization. There are uh, uh, certain methods, the measurement of labor turnover. They are separation method, replacement method, and flux rate method. Under separation method, only those workers are taken into account who have left during a particular period, and the formula for calculation of labor turnover rate under separation method is number of workers left during a period upon average number of workers during a period into 100. Here, average number of workers during the period may be calculated by taking the average of number of workers in the beginning plus number of workers at the end of the period upon 2. The formula for replacement method is this. Under this method, only those new workers are taken into account who have joined in place of those who have left the organization. And the formula is number of workers replaced during the period upon average number of workers during the period into 100. Here it is to be noted that if new workers are engaged for expansion program for any other such purpose, they are not considered for this computation. The third method is flux rate method. Under this method, the total change in the composition of labor force due to separations and additions of workers is computed, and the formula is labor turnover rate is equal to number of workers left plus number of workers replaced upon average number of workers into 100. So these are the three methods for calculating the labor turnover rate, and it is also done practically. So I will discuss one practical example. Uh, Suppose in the month of October 2019, the number of workers on 1st October are 950. Number of workers on 31st October are 1050, and number of workers left the factory in October are 10, and number of workers discharged in October are 30. A number of workers recruited in October, including one account, including 120 on account of factory expansion. Total workers recruited are 140. Now you have to calculate the uh, turnover rate and equivalent annual rates under different methods. So first method is separation rate method. According to this method, the formula is number of separations upon average number of workers into 100. So number of separations according to the question is number of workers left the factory are 10 and number of workers discharged in the month of October are 30. So total number who left the factory are 10 plus 30 amounts to 40. Now we are to calculate average number of workers. Number of workers on 1st October were 950 and number of workers on 31st October were 1050. So we have to take the average of both. So 950 plus 1050, when we divide by 2 we get 1000. 1000 is average number of workers, and number of separations, average number of workers into 100 is our formula. So number of separations are 40, average number of workers are 1000 into 100, it amounts to 4%. So labor turnover rate is 4%. Now we have to make it equivalent annually. So equivalent annual turnover rate, the formula is 4% is our labor turnover rate. So labor turnover rate into 365 upon 30. We calculated on the basis of 1 month, that is 31st October. So 4 into 365 upon 30, it's equals to 48.67%. So equivalent annual turnover rate is 48.67%. Now we come to another method, replacement rate method. The formula is actual number of replacements, average number of workers into 100. Now total number of workers recruited in the month of October were 140, but 120 were due to factory expansion. So 140 minus 120, the replacements on the basis on behalf of those who left were only 20. So 20 upon 1000 into 100 equals to 2%. So replacement rate is 2%, and equivalent annual turnover rate is 2 upon 30 into 365 amounts to 24.33%. Now we come to another method, that is flux rate method. This is the last method, flux rate method, and it is combination of number of separations plus number of uh, replacements. So number of separations were 40 and number of replacements were 20. So 40 plus 20 upon 1000 into 100, it amounts to 6%. So equivalent annual turnover rate is 6 upon 30 into 365, it amounts to 73%. So this is how we are going to calculate the labor turnover rates from these three different methods, and we can get a question in exam on labor turnover theoretically as well as practically. So we should be prepared for both. So I hope you all understood, and that's all for this chapter. Thank you.